Hey people, it's Friday, the 14th. Hello and cheers. Hope everyone is holding up in this intense heat wave that we are going through. Yes, there are historically lots of heat waves and stuff, but this is climate change, people. That's all I got to say. It's real obvious to me that this is a new time for what's happening in this world, and climate change is real. Okay, let me shut up with that shit and just talk about what's important. Well, that's important, but update. So I'll be receiving the RAF records no later than tomorrow night. However, I have to do things by committee. RAF doesn't have a band leader. It's five guys, and there's three senior members of the band, and I'm one of them. So, in a way, we have a little more say, but it's a democracy, and you know that democracy is tough when everyone has to agree. And so, I'll do what the majority wants, and it sounds like what the majority of the band wants is they want everyone to wait until the record release show. Don't sell anything until the record release show. I understand their thinking behind this. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that doesn't matter. Majority rules. So it's coming. It's coming. And I didn't receive my CDs from the Brian Day Woven Territories project yet. He probably sent them via media mail, so they'll probably get here early next week. That's the update. I'm excited though that the RAF is finally it's nearing completion. This particular record has been 5 years in the making. A lot of mental health issues have been a lot of the reason why it's taken so long. Mental illness and also just mental challenges for people in the band. Don't mind saying that. So in spite of everything that we've been through and some near tragedies, we got it done. We almost lost our singer to suicide. I'll go ahead and say that. You know, I'm glad he was unsuccessful. I've been there myself a few times when I was much younger. Mm, man, that coffee is good this morning. Okay, so I'm hyped about that, and I'll show you some records because I played some music. I had some thoughts this morning. My morning thoughts, they evaporate, but when I'm laying in the bed in the morning before I finally get up, I get some real clear thoughts. Anyway, yesterday would have been Albert Ayler's birthday, and people were posting, and so it prompted me to pull this. This is a desert island album, Albert Ayler Trio, Spiritual Unity. This is extremely intense and special. And I've said it before. There's a moment on the album on side two where something happens. It's an anomaly. It literally sounds like an audio wormhole has been opened to me, but it's there. It's not an imagination. It's on the record. Some kind of tone is hit, and it's like, whoa, this is an amazing album. This is a 1973 pressing of the album. It came out in '65. Did it? Yeah. This is an old pressing. This is definitely one of the top albums in my collection, and it's also another example of how I listen to music. I love this album so much, and I've listened to it so intensely that I can hum along with quite a bit of what he's playing. I'm not familiar with it. I love it. Here's another old album that I haven't played forever. This is just really good. Open Sky. Open Sky with Dave Liebman, Bob Moses, and Frank Tusa. It's one of those dates where they captured the spirit and the the zeitgeist of the moment. I'll use that word. I'm not sure it exactly means what I'm thinking, but this album, Open Sky, it's exceptional. It really is. It's exceptional. Had a bit of a jazz day yesterday. So played some Freddie Hubbard, the Hub of Hubbard. And this one is nice. I skipped over the blues. Just really pretty much done with the blues. I am. And the rest of the album just hums. My my perception of trumpet playing right now is heightened as a result of being in active work with Blake on trumpet. Trumpet was my first instrument. If I never mentioned that, trumpet was the first instrument I tried to learn because of my dad. That didn't work. Then we went to flute, and that didn't work, and then we just kept moving. Art bears hopes and fears. I'll say this out loud. I hope that Dagmar is doing okay. She's a friend of mine on Facebook. I understand she was recently in the hospital. We're all getting old. Please, Dagmar, stick with us. Get well. This album features the whole band, Chris Cutler, Fred Frith, and Dagmar Krause. They work together very intensely. And the songs on this album, I took time while listening to this yesterday to read the lyrics because it'd been a long time. And these are vignettes of real life. There's one song in here which is pretty much a story about a woman dealing with some mental illness. And Dagmar's voice is just so perfect for portraying, the anguish that the family is dealing with. This is a very intense, excellent album. This is an original copy. It still has the poster in it. I used to have the poster up on my wall. Krishnanda, I started to play this by, is it Pedro Santos? This is an amazing album. But Pedro Santos. I started to play it. This is a reissue. And then I got busy. But this is out because it's really, really good. And it's psychedelic as well as being Brazilian. This is real good. It's out to get played today. More from yesterday. Joe Henderson. The State of the Tenor, live at the Village Vanguard, Volume 2. I'm so happy I got to go to a show at the Village Vanguard. Last time I was in New York, I saw Jerry Allen there with Robbie Coltrane and Jeff Tain Watts. I forget the bass player. This is real relaxed, and it's live session. It was really enjoyable to listen to. My impression or how it came out off was Joe Henderson is just playing. He doesn't have. It's not like he has something real heavy to say anymore. He's still playing. Sounds great. Joe Henderson has a signature lick like Herbie Hancock and Miles and some of the other my favorites. They have these licks that they do that's a signature of them. And Joe Henderson has one, and he uses it on here. It seems like the way it sounds to me is like he'll bring it out when it's like he needs to be goosed to find the next thing to play, and it generally does spark him to keep things interesting. Really good album. I was watching The In Groove with Mike down in Arizona. He's funny to me. I like him. He was showing that today this is being reissued. Vangelis, however you say his name, Dereck. And I hadn't played it in forever. This came out a long time ago, 1988. This is very good. Sounds real good. So I'm not going to be bothered with buying a new cut of this. Good album. I love Vangelis. More jazz. This is fantastic. Sketches in Spain. This is an original copy from 1966, as they call it. With Gil Evans. This is wonderful. What I noticed, and I had forgotten, but as I listened to it, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. There are a couple of hogs that Miles Davis does on this album. You old school musicians know what I mean when I say the word hog. Mistake. There's a couple spots here where Miles Davis fumbles getting from one note to the next, and they leave it on, but it's obviously a mistake. There's two of them on here, and I thought to myself, I thought about Blake because there's on the Muse, there's this one part where it's just a kind of it's a note where it's not quite definite, but it's a transition note from one lick to the next, or the one statement to the next. And we struggled over whether or not we should try and redo that. And ultimately we didn't, because what Blake played was so good. This is an example of where sometimes it just happens. The majority of what has been played is so good, we just got to leave it. Just leave it and let it go. Hadn't played this forever. Tai Phong, band out of France, but I think there's some the story behind the band is interesting. I don't think everyone in the band is French. Musically, this is like Yes, and musically it's pretty good. The vocals are not very good for me, and I love that artwork. Great artwork. The music almost lives up to the cover. The vocals, it's like, man, sometimes I wish people just stay, shut up, just play. Here's one that I bought. I can still remember buying this in Chicago. I can almost remember the name of the store. It's still open. Om on the Wawa label. Partly why I bought it was the cover, and then there is a Henry Cow connection. The brother of Tim Hodgkinson, I believe, is the drummer on here. Om out of Spain. I think I got that right. Or Catalan. This is, I enjoyed this the most I ever have since owning it, by just accepting what's going on here. This is early in their lives. It's rough. Their playing is still developing, but there's a spirit here in the playing, and I enjoyed it for the first time. It's like, okay, it's landed. I get it now. Last one, Gruppo Musica Improvisation. That's who this actually is, the feedback, and this is a reissue. Copies of this are hard to find. Ennio Morricone is on here. This is really, really very cool. Similar to Joyride. Those early kind of freak out psych records where it's just a big jam and they throw everything, including the kitchen sink, in there. But this is really done. In the drummer on here. Damn good drummer. There's a moment where he finally just lets loose from playing the backbeat, and we hear some of his skills, and it's like, wow, that's a good drummer on there. Cheers. Hey family, hey everybody. Hope you're all good. Last thing I'll show is this, something that's been in the collection I bought back when Homer's was doing. They used to have these huge sales in the summer where they were just getting rid of just tons of back stock and selling everything for $1. So I'd buy tons of CDs for $1 just to take a chance. This is one, Psycho Cowboys, Come On Baby. This is like Fatboy Slim, back when that sort of thing was happening with sampling. I like this better than Fatboy Slim. It's pretty good. Okay, so looking forward to getting the actual vinyl and putting the records together, because I have one here just for my own satisfaction. I have my test pressing. One of my test pressing, I put in one of the covers because I've had the covers for the album for over a month now, waiting for the vinyl. That is a cool cover designed by our lead singer, Kelly. The guys in the band, REF, to me, they're my brothers. They're all extraordinary people. Extraordinary. They make me crazy. Just like people that you really know well and love. You know them really well. And so sometimes they make you really angry and really crazy. And we do that because we're REF is a band of brothers. I love those guys so much. Okay, people. I am down to the last 3 copies. And more than likely, I'm expecting a guest today. I won't be surprised if he asks for one of these. So these are the last 3 muses for sale. This is it. Get it while you can. Okay. Have a good weekend if I don't talk